Welcome to the Anti-Hustle Business Podcast. I am your host, Shannon Whaley, and I'm here to help coaches, consultants, and service providers like you build profitable, sustainable online businesses without the hustle or the burnout that's so prevalent in the online space. I am here to show you that there is a totally different way to do business that doesn't leave you burnt the fuck out and hating your life. It's time to ditch the hustle culture and embrace a new way of doing business. So get ready to redefine success on your terms and build a thriving anti-hustle based business where you have more money, more naps, more travel, more freedom, more whatever the fuck you want in your life. So buckle up and let's dive in. Hey, welcome back to the podcast. It has been a while since I last recorded an episode, and I'm just going to be honest, it has been really difficult for me to show up for this particular platform. And if you've been following me on social media too. So the work that I have been doing, I've been contracting. And so I haven't been launching anything, and I've just kind of taken a break in my own business for a little bit. Things are really picking up with my client that I'm working with. And so there's more work on my plate. My calendar is quite busy and is filling up very quickly, which is amazing. And I'm left with this decision of, do I want to launch something? What do I want to focus on in my business? And that's the standstill that I am at in terms of my own business, my own clients, my own programs, that sort of thing. So that's what's been going on, just to be fully transparent. Also, if you followed any of the previous season's episodes, you know that I've been also navigating perimenopause stuff, medication. I just had a change in medication. So I switched from birth control, which was a bioidentical estrogen and a progestin, and we moved over to an estrogen gel and a progesterone pill. So there's been a little bit of a dip in mood and motivation there as well. So we're just riding the wave of all of this, and it's been interesting. So thank goodness I have lots of different skills. And so I've been able to work with this company and work with their lawyers and be able to coach their lawyers and have that sustain me in my business as I figure out what the fuck I'm doing. But we are back here. I just wanted to give you a little bit of an update before we dive into the content for this week. There's also been a lot of changes with the International Coaching Federation this last year. And so things are changing with mentor coaching, which I'm in a limbo of, because now you need the proper credential to be a mentor coach. So even though I went through mentor coach training in 2019, now you need an actual certification and credential through the ICF to be a mentor coach. So I'm deciding if I want to continue to do that, because I love mentoring. And what we're going to talk about here today is combining some of the mentor coaching with the business coaching. And so for the last episode, I talked about how to coach around intangible results or desires. And so today I'm going to talk about how to sell intangible results or desires. And so I really enjoy pairing this up because of the lens that I have. And so that's kind of where I'm at figuring out. I was going to go for my MCC, and they just stopped messaging me and haven't returned emails. And I was ready to throw down money and join their program. And I was like, well, if that's how they treat potential clients and students, then I don't actually want to work with them. So that is not on the table right now, but I've been eyeballing 2 different mentor coaching programs to see if that's what I want to be doing. So I'm leaning into that at this point. So I get to kind of go back to school and then also get another credential. But this time, because what's happening is that if you don't have a mentor coaching credential, you can't mentor coach. So I would no longer be allowed to do one of these things that I truly love doing. And it is causing me some distress. So I think I just talked myself into joining that program. Okay, so here we go. Let's dive into the content today. So I recommend that if you haven't listened to the last episode, how to coach around intangible results, then I recommend listening to that and then coming back to this and listening to how to sell intangible results. Because one of the hardest things that coaches do is selling what they do. One of the hardest things they do is trying to sell what they do. And this is why I'm in business. This is why marketing coaches and business coaches are in business, is because a lot of coaches are really good at their coaching and their craft, but they're not so good about how to convey that to the internet and to their audience. And what makes it more difficult as a business coach, I can say you're going to walk away with a marketing plan. You're going to walk away with a fully formed program that you know how to sell and you know how to talk about online. And so you're going to be walking away with tangible things. But what a lot of clients who are coming to me also as a business coach, but if you're not a business coach, they want intangible results. So they're looking for more confidence, self-trust. They want to feel sexy. They want to feel sexier and more at home in their bodies. They want to feel clear about the future. And so if you don't know how to talk about this in your content, then it sounds really boring. Feel more confident, step into your power, become your best self, right? Those are not clear at all of what you're doing or what you're trying to do. And so the coaches who are going to actually get hired are the ones who have figured out how to talk about those intangible results in tangible ways so that their audience can hear it, they understand it, and they know, okay, this is definitely the person for me. So what we're going to do is move you away from sounding really vague. Sometimes you might try to overcompensate and start over-explaining things. Sometimes people are using really fluffy woo-woo words that unless you're really aligned with the person and they understand all of your philosophies and all of the things, you're going to lose a lot of people because they don't understand all of the fluffy words that you're using. So we want to make sure that you are using that. One of the things that we say is clear over clever. You want to make sure that you are using language that is clear, that clearly conveys what you do, how you do it, and what the end results are versus trying to be super clever in your marketing, because that is not what's actually going to get you hired. The problem isn't the result. So it's not that they want more confidence. That's not the problem. The problem is how it's being communicated. It's how you're putting it out there. And so intangible results are typically abstract. They're subjective. They're going to be so different for every person. My confidence doesn't look like somebody else's confidence and then the another person's confidence. And it's really open to interpretation. And so when you say, I help women feel more confident, your audience is going to think, okay, confident how? In what situation? And what does that actually change? How is that going to show up in my life? And so I want you to remember that people aren't buying words. They buy what those words mean in their life. They're buying the feeling. They're buying the picture that you're painting for them in your content and how you're sharing the things. That's what they're buying. So we want to get really clear when a client, when we're hearing, oh, I want to feel more confident. Great. What does that mean for you? And again, I cover this in the last episode because the same is going to happen on your sales calls when you're talking to someone who wants to feel more confident. I love that. Tell me what that looks like for you, because it looks really different for everybody. And then you get more information. And so if you're doing discovery calls or consultations with people, really get in there and learn what they're talking about. And then you can use all of that online. Don't be afraid to use the specific things that every person that you've talked to has said, because it's going to give people an idea of, it's going to land for a lot of people because we also attract similar clients and similar people who are working through the same things that we're working through or that we have worked through. And so don't be afraid to put that out there. I know that some people are like, oh, if I share what confidence means for this person, then it's going to be different. But the thing is that you are getting real, verbatim information about what confidence looks like for someone instead of just trying to make it up in your head. And so that's always going to be more valuable than what ChatGPT is telling you, what your brain is trying to turn into like a more generic confidence piece of content. And so you could even give a couple examples. Some of my clients who have wanted more confidence came to me and said they wanted X, Y, and Z. And another one said that they wanted X, Y, and Z. And then another one said that this was, does this sound like you? Maybe you want something that looks totally different. Let's have a conversation. I would love to hear what confidence looks like and sounds like for you. And so this is how you start building a bigger conversation versus you just trying to put some words together. And because when you're doing it from your memory or you're just trying to make shit up, it's going to be generic and it's not going to be specific. The more specific that you can get in your content, the better. And so this is the same move you make in coaching. You don't sell the word, you sell the experience of the word. So we're talking about the confidence piece here. Confidence then becomes speaking up in meetings, asking for a raise, raising your prices, negotiating contracts, setting boundaries without guilt, making the first move. Maybe you have a crush, a gym crush, and you want to make your first move. Those are very specific things. And so when we hear from potential clients or our clients of like how confidence is showing up in their life, this is good stuff. And when someone says, oh, I want to feel sexier, great. Talk to me about what that looks like. How will you know that you're feeling sexier in your life? What will you be doing? How will you be showing up? What will you be wearing? And so walking into a room and not shrinking, commanding that power, wearing what I want without overthinking, wearing shorts, wearing shirts without sleeves. I know this summer I'll feel sexy and more confident when I'm not hiding my body, when I just decide to wear the bikini no matter how much I weigh and feeling okay with it, feeling neutral, right? Sometimes we have to figure out how we want to feel about it. Letting myself be seen. And they get to describe what this means to them. And so if we're talking about self-trust, so this might look like when I know that I trust myself, I will make decisions without polling 5 different people who I don't listen to anyway. I follow through with what I said I was going to do. I know that when I am trusting myself, that I am going to date differently. I'm going to set boundaries. I'm going to be looking out for the red flags and slowing dating down so that I don't get caught up in the compersion or the, I don't know if that's maybe the word, but right, like when we get super excited, I don't think that's the word, but I can't think of the word. So menopause has also been stealing language from me, and I can't think of the word in English, and I certainly can't think of it in Italian. But if you know what I'm talking about, where especially if you have ADHD, you get really fucking excited and you're like, oh my God, this is the best person ever. And just all of the red flags. It's like when you're editing a picture and you change again, I can't think of the word. You change like the saturation and it just goes and then you just can't see the flags. And that's what happens when you limerence. That's the word. It's not compersion, it's limerence. So I know that about me. When I am dating, which I have not dated in 9 months, I brag that I'm going to slow things down and I'm not going to see them more than once a week. I'm going to check in with my nervous system. And so this is how I'm building my self-trust in my body. And that's what that looks like for me. I mean, that's pretty fucking specific, right? And so this is what we want to hear from our potential clients. And this is what we want to know so that then we can turn around and talk about it online. So translating intangible results into content is a skill set. So don't beat yourself up if you struggle with this or if you feel like you can't do this. This is something that takes time, and it takes a marketing lens. It takes time meeting with people and doing discovery calls. Maybe you're doing free sessions. If you are doing a new program, then it would be in your best interest to meet with people to hear what they're struggling with and what they want support around, and to understand what the tangible results are that they're looking for and the intangible results, and then get more information. And what you want to ask yourself and ask them is, what does this look like in real life? Describe this. And so you're getting this information. And so when you are translating this into your content, so what does this look like in real life? And describe that, paint that picture for them. So instead of saying feel more confident, you're going to say speak up without rehearsing everything in your head first. Instead of saying, oh, I'll teach you how to trust yourself, you might say you'll learn how to make a decision and not spend the next 3 days questioning yourself and beating yourself up. This is what makes people feel connected to the content. This is where people can see themselves in these situations and be like, yes, absolutely. Sign me up. And so this is how you are bridging your coaching skills with your marketing skills and your business skills, right? And this is a big gap for a lot of people, is learning how to take. There are so many good coaches who are not so good at marketing. And I just want to say that you'll get better if you can learn how to translate your greatness as a coach into the marketing skill set. And so taking what you're hearing and turning that into your marketing. And if it's very specific, you can always ask them for permission if you're worried about, oh, I feel like I need to get permission to say this. Just ask them, hey, this was something I was thinking about putting out and using this quote that you said in our session or in our conversation. Is that okay with you? Does that feel okay? And let them decide if that feels like something that feels a little bit sticky for you. And so as you are talking and speaking with your clients, when you're coaching, you would say, okay, what does that look like? How will you know that you got that? Where does this show up? So you're gathering more information. And so in marketing, you answer those questions for your audience. And you can use your coaching sessions. Your coaching sessions are a gold mine of content. So hopefully you're using some sort of AI, if you're using Fireflies or something to capture transcripts, and then you're able to use different quotes and very specific information during your coaching calls. And so when you are answering those questions for your audience, you're not guessing, you're not making shit up, you're not just dreaming things up, you're pulling from client language verbatim. And I wouldn't even change it. I wouldn't pop it into ChatGPT and say, can you change this a little bit? Use verbatim what your clients are saying, because they're telling you what they're thinking. And this is probably, yes, most likely, what other people in your audience are thinking. And this is how, and if you've ever experienced this, when you've looked at someone's content or gone on their sales page and you're like, it's like they're reading my journal. It's like they're saying, this is the exact same shit that I say. And it's because, and maybe it is, maybe it was something that they literally said, but we are oftentimes saying the same things to ourselves. We think we're pretty unique, and we're actually not, especially in our struggles. And this is why it's so important to use the verbatim and the real client language. Your best marketing comes from your best coaching. So we want to make sure that you're really capitalizing on the sessions, because Not only are you getting information from your client, but your genius is showing up. When you are coaching, ideally, this is where you're feeling on purpose. You're feeling on top of your game, and maybe there's a question that you asked during the session, or there's some insight that you had. This is gold. This is something that you really want to be using in your content. Want to break free from the hustle and grind and build a successful business? I've helped thousands of clients and students leave their 9-to-5 jobs, travel the world, land their first clients, close 5-figure sales in the DMs, and grow their businesses to 6 and 7 figures. Want to know more? Visit antihustlebiz.com and transform your life and business the anti-hustle way. Okay, back to the show. So when coaches realize they're being vague, they often swing to the other side of over explaining. So this is why you want to be really careful and really mindful of over explaining versus clarifying. And this is a mistake that I see in people's content. And so they might start writing long paragraphs. There's been some people love the long form. If I start reading something and I start scrolling and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm not reading it. I don't care. I'm not going to read it. And that maybe you're not like that, but I would say because of what social media has done to us, that if you can't clarify and get to the point quickly and you're spending paragraphs on a Facebook post trying to over explain, or you're like explaining the process, because people don't necessarily care about the steps. Step 1, we're going to do this. Step 2, we're going to do that. They just want to know what the fuck is going to happen when we're done working together. Are you going to get me to where I want to be or not? They don't need to know the blueprint, right? You could give them a rough idea, the blueprint for launching, and we're going to make sure that we cover these top 3 things in your launch process, but you don't need to go down your entire process and break that down. People don't give a shit. And oftentimes you'll add more words and it just gets really convoluted. But more words does not necessarily mean more clarity. You want to be specific. That is what creates that clarity and clears things up around what you're trying to talk about. So you don't necessarily need to say more. You don't need to over explain. You just need to say it cleaner. So think about, and maybe this takes some time as you're trying to rewrite your content, and where can I clean this up a little bit? Where is this getting wordy? Maybe you need to go for a walk and just get away from your computer. This is something we can talk about if you want to set up a consultation to talk about your marketing, to talk about, how you're doing this. But there's definitely tricks, like giving yourself 15 minutes max to write a post, which is still, that's a long time. But I know people who are spending hours on emails, hours on Facebook posts. And so you just have to get to the point where I trust that whatever I put out, they're going to understand, and I'm going to pop this out in 15 minutes. If I have more to say, or if I need to clear something up, I'll do it in another post, but I am going to write this post, close my laptop or turn off my phone, and then leave the fucking house. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to go do something, but I'm not going to sit and edit the shit out of this, because the more that you try to explain and over-explain and clarify and clear things up, the more watered down, the more boring your content is going to be. So this is really an edge for a lot of people, which is learning how to quickly write content, have a download, drop it in. Great, this is what I want to say. Great, I'm going to put this out. I trust that people are going to get exactly what they need at the right time, that my message and my posts are going to land in front of the perfect people, and that I've always got more to say and I can just write more posts. And this isn't going to be the fucking post of all posts that get. So off my soapbox. Set yourself some time, set a time limit, and then be done and hit post and leave. Okay, I want to go through a couple of things in terms of vague versus clear, and then I want you to do this yourself. So I want for you to go and see where you've been doing this and how you can start to change this. Vague. I help you feel more confident in your business. Great. What the fuck does that mean? I help you sell your programs without second guessing every word you say. I teach you how to show up online with feeling like the bad bitch that you are, knowing that you're going to sell out this program and hit your 6-figure launch goals. That's pretty fucking specific, right? So really looking at how you can put more oomph and excitement, because I help you feel more confident. Okay, great. That's not exciting. I help you show up like the bad bitch that you are so that you can sell out your program and hit your 6-figure launch goals. That sounds way more fun. Sign me up. Okay. I help you trust yourself. Well, great. What the fuck does that mean? I teach you how to make decisions and trust your inner knowing and inner being without needing constant reassurance. I teach you how to tap into your intuition so you don't have to outsource your answers to everybody in your circle, and you know how to tap into your inner knowing. This is getting long and convoluted, so this isn't it. But, right? How do I pare this down? So I teach you how to make decisions without needing constant reassurance, checking in with your entire friend group, and then puttering around for a couple of weeks before you pull the trigger. Does that sound like something that's more interesting than I help you trust yourself? I help you step into your power. Okay. I teach you how I help you stop shrinking in conversations that matter so that you can show up and get exactly what you need and want. So change these, and maybe you start to see, oh, where are you watering yourself down? Where are you not getting more specific about what you actually want? How can you get more specific in your desires? So this is how people really start to see themselves in your work. It's how they see themselves working with you and signing up and getting these results and building that confidence and building that trust and doing all of the things. And so when they start to see this in your content, they start to feel understood. They feel less alone. They feel like you get them, that you know exactly what they're looking for. They feel like they can trust you faster. And that trust is what leads to relationships and sales and retention, and they stick with you. It also leads to referrals because you're so fucking good at what you do. Of course, they're going to refer their friends to you. This is where all of that clarity is. This is how you help them decide between you and someone else that they've had their eye on. So, if your content has felt vague, ask yourself, am I naming a feeling or am I actually describing a real experience, a true desire? And would my ideal client read this and know immediately, that is exactly what I am dealing with? They get me. This is exactly who I need to work with. So if not, it is time to get more specific. So that's all I have for today. If you want to talk about what this could look like in your business, or to talk about how to start shifting your own content, we can have a conversation. Go to antihustlebiz.com. You'll be able to download my anti-hustle business checklist. You can make an appointment for a consult. You can check out the freebies that are there as well and learn more about what I do. But you get to have this. You get to have the business and the coaching sessions that light you up, but then also the business that lights you up. And I'm here to help you have both. So reach out to me if you have any questions, or if you want to have a conversation. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next time. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Anti-Hustle Business Podcast. I hope you found inspiration in the message and that you got some actionable next steps that you can implement right away in your business to start seeing results and moving the needle. Remember, you don't have to sacrifice your well-being or your mental health to achieve success. So prioritize your pleasure, play, and rest while you build your business around your life. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Your feedback helps me reach more entrepreneurs like you who want to do business in a completely new way. For more resources and to connect with my community, please visit my website at antihustlebiz.com and follow me on Instagram at @TheShannonWhaley. Until next time, keep taking those strategic anti-hustle steps toward building the business and life that you love. Take care.